Good evening and welcome again to the Defense Chronicles. This is Leslie Bocobo. Tonight we have Attorney Dennis Manalo. Good evening once again, Attorney Dennis Manalo. I'd like to ask you first a question. Please tell us more about the illegal search. Tell us something, your thoughts on this.
Well, before we go into the illegals, well, calling it an illegal search,
Yes.
you have to go into what transpired today. The bank officials of PS Bank testified that there was a BSP audit where there were representatives of the AMLAC.
Yes.
And during this audit, the bank mentioned that signature cards of CJ Corona were shown to these people. And this testimony becomes relevant because the issue regarding the authenticity of the bank documents submitted by the prosecution appears to have finally been given a source.
Yes.
Because the explanation of the prosecution is that there was a little lady who gave them these documents, and Congressman Banal said that the documents suddenly appeared in the one of the portions of his gate in his house. And Senator Miriam Santiago was very clear that if there is no credible explanation on the source of the document, then the law makes a presumption that whoever is in possession of the document is the one presumed to have taken that document. So now what do we have here? We can now see that the prosecution, who here represents the government, illegally took possession, illegally conducted a search on bank accounts of CJ Corona, which the law says are absolutely confidential. If this is an illegal search, the larger consequence of it is that all evidence that emanated from these documents should be excluded by the impeachment court. That is the effect of an illegal search under our Constitution. That is how much we value the right to privacy of people.
Yes.
And that if there is any intrusion in that privacy, it should be an intrusion allowed by law. And in this particular case, since the intrusion is against the law, the consequence is all evidence cannot be admitted. And this is not a novel legal matter here in our country. A lot of cases against a lot of people who have been accused of so many crimes have been acquitted on this ground alone, because we have to understand how much we value our right to privacy and how much we put a premium on a person's right to be let alone. And the prosecution, even the prosecution of crimes, have to take a back seat when it comes to this valuable right under our Constitution.
This was actually what Senator Miriam Santiago was explaining to the witness this afternoon.
Yes. I think Senator Miriam Santiago is just holding back.
Very clear, yes.
She's just holding back on the consequence of this. But I think the way she has been explaining it to the impeachment court is that this is where the court is being led to. And we cannot blame CJ Corona for this. We cannot blame this impeachment court for this. We only have to blame the people in government who have actually allowed a violation of our civil liberties.
Going back to, what about the testimony on the BSP audit here? What can you tell us about this?
Well, the sad thing about this is, as pointed out by Senator Joker Arroyo, the right of the AMLAC to conduct an inspection was never intended to be a tool for political persecution or vendetta. But sadly, this is the state of affairs right now. We now have a government, a high-ranking official of the judiciary who appears to have been subjected to political persecution. And of course, I'm not just going to limit this on the impeachment process. It has been very clear that the head of the executive wants him out of the office. And it is sad to know that this may be the motivation for the search that appears to have been conducted way back in 2010.
Clearly now, political vendetta seems to be right now into play. And on that note, can the president attack the Chief Justice? I mean, does he really have the right to attack the Chief Justice? You see, right now, he seems to be pressuring the senators now to take a further step beyond where they are right now into playing roles like now they're senator prosecutors now that clearly show preference against the Chief Justice. What can you say about this?
You know, we are now fighting for the civil liberty of
Yes.
our people through the Chief Justice against unlawful searches. And I would be the last person to deny that right to the President to voice out whatever his problem may be with the Chief Justice. But it's not a question of right. It's a question of whether it's proper to do it
Correct.
at this time. There is an impeachment court that is hearing the complaint. The defense has hardly presented an iota of evidence right now. Everything that has been presented is from the prosecution. And the president is making conclusions, is arriving at conclusions based on a picture that is half shown. There are two things wrong here. He is arriving at a conclusion too early, and he is preempting a decision from the impeachment court. And to me, that is his right, but there is something wrong with it. It's not proper to make that conclusion, to tell the people about your conclusion about this case when you have not seen everything yet, and when you know that there is an impeachment court that's trying the case. There's a legal process. In fact, we have already mentioned this. He was the one who chose this process. He was the one who wanted the Chief Justice to go through an impeachment case. And now that the Chief Justice is here, he wants to take the case out and bring it to some other forum. But is there any other forum that can legitimately that would have acceptability in rendering a final decision, a final finding on the merits of the verified impeachment complaint?
Okay. Time and again, we are made to believe that the president has other things to do aside from getting involved directly in the current impeachment proceedings right now in the Senate. In fact, his deputy spokesperson said that once in a while he looks into the matter. But just recently, just a few days ago, he made a PowerPoint presentation at La Consolacion College, clearly pointing out the sal ends of the Chief Justice. What is your reaction?
You know, other things to do is just, just playing it down too much. There are other grave concerns for our country today. Victims of the earthquake,
Yes.
in the Visayas, victims of floods in Mindanao. We have, as we speak, the price of gasoline will rise in a couple of hours. And those are legitimate concerns of our people. And who is manning the ship? Who is helping the people go through this trying and difficult time in our history? The presentation in La Consolacion, will it be able to stop the rise of the price of gasoline? Will it be able to put food in the plates of those who are suffering from the natural catastrophe that has taken place in our country? It won't. But who's going to do it? There has to be somebody to lead the flock.
Obviously, the president needs to do his homework. And then recently he said that he could yet be a better man if he finds himself a wife. What exactly does he mean by, is he admitting that he lacks many things when it comes to governance or the way he runs the country? What could it be? What is he trying to tell us?
I'm not really sure about that. I don't know if I became a better man when I married, but hopefully, it's not the answer really. Whether you're married or you're single, it's how you will lead
That's right.
this country to through this difficult period of time. We should. My take on this is that with the situation that we're in, I'm even surprised that he would even have time to consider these things. Not that I'm saying that he should not have a personal life, but the president's concern should always be the welfare of the people.
Of course, every man deserves a good wife to stand behind him. So, on that note, we wish him well and find the right woman.
Yeah, I wish him well too, and I wish as well that our country will be able to survive the tragedies that we are experiencing at the moment.
Okay. Thank you very much, Attorney. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us once again to the Defense Chronicles.